Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Congressman Steve King.
Hey, thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Oh, thank you all very, very much. It's a wonderful welcome here and a terrific morning for us to celebrate the 5-year anniversary of the beginning of the Tea Party and the Tea Party patriots in particular. And I will tell you, in my years of slugging this thing out in the public arena, we always needed to have the grassroots rise up to save America from the left. And you're doing it. I just think back in those years going into roughly 2010, I watched what happened when Nancy Pelosi became the Speaker of the House, and I'm sitting there doing all I can, trying to roll that rock uphill, punching away at trying to hold our Constitution together and our free enterprise together and our way of life together, and they rolled piece after piece over the top of us. You know, we forget that they rolled cap and trade over the top of us before they brought Obamacare to roll over the top of us. It just didn't get through the Senate because of what used to be known as the filibuster and a supermajority required before Harry Reid pulled the trigger on the nuclear option. And by the way, nothing exploded over there in the Senate, and it should have. But they rolled cap and trade over the top of us, and because it's been blocked legislatively by you, now you've got Barack Obama deciding that he has the constitutional authority to make up laws on his own. And to direct his minions in the executive branch to do whatever they decide to do to impose this leftist agenda on us. And I have long spoken about these constitutional violations. But here's the one that is the starkest and the clearest to me. When Barack Obama stepped up to the podium after he'd taken a beating from the religious community because there was a requirement in Obamacare that they provide contraceptives, abortifacients, and sterilizations, even through our church organizations. And Barack Obama took about a 2-week beating from the religious organizations, and then he stepped up to the podium like this, and he said, now I'm going to make an accommodation to the religious organizations. Now I'm going to require the insurance companies to provide these things for free. He said, for free. He said it twice. And so we went back and looked at the rule written by Kathleen Sebelius. There wasn't a letter changed. Nothing got changed. The only thing that changed was the Barack Obama had spoken. And the insurance companies lined up to do his bidding as if he were king. The imperial presidency has emerged, and some of it in spite of what all you have done. But I want to take you back, though, to that 2010 period of time when Nancy Pelosi walked through a lot of you. I know there are people in this room that were standing there and saw this with your eyes when she carried that big magnum gavel through and had her let them eat cake moment to glorify how they were going to use that big gavel to impose the will of the leftists on the free people of America in an unconstitutional fashion, and they did that. But they did it over the largest uprising of people that I have seen in my lifetime, and that was you. Coming to this Capitol building, and I remember walking down the steps the day we saw that Obamacare bill come out and having a conversation, what do we do, how do we save this? Well, we just call the American people to come to the Capitol, surround the Capitol, jam the place, don't let anybody in, don't let anybody out, just fill that place up. And you know what you did? You did something that has never been done before. You actually surrounded the Capitol, all the way around the Capitol. It wasn't a demonstration here or there. You circled the Capitol. And it wasn't just a human chain reaching with as far as we could to each other. You were 6 and 8 deep like a huge human donut with thousands of people and the corners still left to go. And there's no picture of that because there's no air cover over the top. You can't fly a helicopter over there and take a picture. But you stood up to defend America. And you stood up to defend America against cap and trade, against TARP, against Obamacare. And what happens? The president sends the IRS after you. And he says there's not a smidgen of corruption involved in this. And there's not a smidgen hardly of constitutional authority that this man actually exercises. He's outside the bounds of it. And we've got to pull that down. We have a battle ahead of us. We're far from done. Tea Party gets the blame for everything the left doesn't like. I'm fine with that. It's a pretty good sign we're doing the right thing together. But remember we're about restoring the Constitution, and we will do this with public demonstration, and we'll do it in the electoral process. We'll do this from the grassroots. We'll do this all the way up to the next president of the United States, too. We're going to restore constitutional rights in America. We're going to reaffirm that it means what it says, not what somebody wants it to say. We're going to restore the American dream. We're going to identify for little babies yet to be born the pillars of American exceptionalism. We're going to identify it because if we don't believe it in our hearts, if we don't believe in this, if we don't know this as part of our civilization, they will define it away from us. So it's our children is where the future of this is. They need to know our founding fathers meant what they said. The words in the Declaration and the Constitution and the law, by the way, Mr. President, mean what they say. And we cannot let them define them away. We've got to step up because we owe this. We owe this to the people that handed this republic over to us to preserve, protect, and defend it and hand it to the next generation. They could form it. They formed it out of the ideas of the rights that came from God and argued for it, wrote for it, shaped the Declaration, the Constitution, fought a Revolutionary War, and there's our great country, and all we have to do is preserve and protect it and defend it and hand it to the next generation in better condition than the way we found it. That's the American dream. We are going to realize it, and we're going to serve and do this with the most patriotic motivations, and we're going to serve with joy. We might as well have fun because you know, if you can serve with joy, they can never defeat you. And they are never going to defeat the Tea Party. We're stronger than ever before. We're anchored in the Constitution. We're anchored in limited government. We're anchored in free enterprise. We're anchored in strong families. We're anchored in Western civilization, which is the foundation for these things that we believe in. So let's go out there and continue this effort in our homes, in our cities, in our churches, in our schools, in our workplace, in our families. God bless America. Let's save it. Let's save it together. Thank you. Thank you.